hey man, we can meet up. Like, what kind of fucking idiot would know he's a UFC fighter, a world champion, and actually believe that fucking makes sense, dude? Hey, let's do this. Hey, Bisping, you want to keep talking about me on the internet? We can make this happen. Like, talk about the most fucking empty threat of all time. It's literally like my daughter. I'm like, hey, Giselle, I need you to go to your room and I need you to think about the thing you did. And she's all, hey, I've got a better idea. How about we fucking go downstairs and we make this happen? We make what happen? We fight. Giselle, you're 9. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Now we're going to talk about this Michael Bisping street fight story because there are some hilarious developments going on. This guy that punched Michael Bisping in the face, and by the grace of Michael Bisping, is still alive, since Bisping could have just decided to kill him anytime that he wanted to with his bare hands. This person is on the internet calling for another fight. He wants Bisping again, and he's mad because Bisping said that he hit like a pussy. Because he does. He does hit like a pussy. Because he admitted that when he told the story, and he was like, hey man, people know me, but I got a fractured hand. That's the only reason that, Bisping survived me punching him in the face. It's like, oh yeah? Well, first of all, so he didn't know who Bisping was, right? And don't worry, we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you guys the video of this guy talking. I'm also going to show you one other video that's just really hilarious because it's basically, I'm going to tell you what Bisping's side of the story was and this guy's side of the story, which are basically identical. That's the thing. There aren't really any disagreements on what happened here. But in case you're new to this channel, this is not a news channel. This is a commentary channel. And I have funny stories to go along with this as well. So buckle in. Or don't. If you were just looking for news, you probably already know the story. But anyway, also, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. If you chuckle even one time, you have to subscribe. Also, you should go subscribe to Michael Bisping's new channel. I'm pretty sure that it's a possibility that he may have seen a couple of my videos and been like, well, if this stupid asshole's making money on YouTube, why the hell don't I? And that was a really smart strategy. You're exactly right. If I'm making money doing this, then obviously you'll make 10 times as much money as me, and that is correct. That's excellent strategy. Congratulations. It's a good channel. Bisping is super clever too. He doesn't get enough credit for how clever he is, okay? He's great on the mic. Everybody already knows that, but he's clever funny. His fucking podcast is great. The other dude's funny too, even though they wouldn't let me on their podcast when I offered them money early on. I didn't just offer Cheryl Sonnen money. I offered them money and they said no. But I was nobody then, so that is off the table now. None of you can have my money now. I don't fucking need you guys anymore. Just kidding. Anyway, but yeah, so go check out Bisping's channel and let's jump into this thing. So basically, the story goes like this. Bisping is on Bourbon Street. He's walking down Bourbon Street. And if you've never been to New Orleans, and specifically to that part of New Orleans, you wouldn't know that the collection of musical talent there is unreal, okay? And this is relevant because apparently Michael Bisping, what started this was he was filming a band on the street, okay? Now that might sound weird, or actually I don't know why that would sound weird, but just to reiterate why that's completely not weird, when I went to New Orleans for the first time, I was there with 6 or 7 people, and we were going like bar to bar, right? And the first place that we stopped, there was a band playing there where I can't exaggerate how talented they were. It was I was sitting there and people are dancing, everyone's going crazy. I'm looking at my friends, I'm like, how is this band in this tiny little bar? This is the most musically talented group of people I've ever listened to in my life. People were this place was going off. The singer was incredible. Way too talented to be in a venue of this size. I couldn't believe it. Now, do any of you guys have a friend who is super antsy, where you always, no matter where you go, you could literally be in a club, before you go out, you're like, all right, guys, let's set some goals for the night. What do we want to do? It's we want to listen to music, we want to have some drinks, we want to talk to some hot girls, and we want to, whatever, right? And then you could fast forward 2 hours, and you could be in a club that's better than you imagined, talking to way hotter girls than you thought, drinking incredible drinks, listening to incredible music, and whatever buddy, in every crew I have, there's one of my buddies who'd be like, hey, let's check out the next place. And you're like, why would we check out the next place? I don't know, let's just see what's going on over there. It's how could what we're doing here be improved by going to a new venue? I swear to God, I owe every single group I have, there's one of them that said, hey, let's check out the next place. They're never happy. No matter where you go, they're never happy. So in this particular instance, the guys said, come on, let's go to this next place. somehow they always end up talking you into leaving too. So we go across the street, we go to this next place. It's this tiny little venue. There's no one even playing music. And I literally was just staring at him like, dude, really? One guy comes out with a guitar and starts singing, and I literally almost cried. This guy was that talented, where I was like, I've never been this, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Like, that's what New Orleans is like, okay? Then you go out on the street, and there's street bands playing that are equally talented. It's amazing. I don't even understand how there's so much talent there. But so that's the environment that there's music playing. It's a great time. Like, it's loud. Everybody's happy. And so, according to Bisping, he was filming something on the street. He didn't specify, but the dude did. And he said that Bisping was trying to film a band or something, right? And so this guy, again, you know what? I'll play the videos for you guys later. But basically, this guy said that he's all, yo, because of my past, I don't like when people be filming me. And he said that he basically went up on Bisping. This is exactly what Bisping said, too. The guy was like, hey, man, you can't film here. And Bisping was like, this is a public place. I can film wherever I want. Now I'm going to pause, because this is the moment where I want you to visualize how, when Bisping tells a story, it's like, hey, man, this is a public place, okay? This is a public place. I can film whatever I want. So I'm going to show you this little interaction that Bisping had with Masvidal back in the day, and then visualize the tone of voice that Bisping probably used when he was speaking to this gentleman, which I totally condone. It's probably how I would have talked to this fucking asshole too. Ready? Boom.
Focus on getting your ass kicked Saturday night. That's what you need to focus on. Yeah, hey, I can touch you, motherfucker. Go away, you punk bitch. Look at you. You're a fucking punk. You are a punk. You are a bad representation of this sport. Look at you, fucking trash, motherfucker.
Walk away into the fucking elevator, bitch.
You trash, man. You trash. Hey, you're gonna get your ass kicked on Saturday night of a guy called Wonderboy.
Okay.
Aha.
I'll still fuck you up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at you. You're trash. You are. You are trash. Just like you the stereotypical motherfucker, Yo Romero. You are a trashy motherfucker.
Oh no, that hurt my feelings. Stop, please.
Get a class, dude.
Please, that hurt my feelings. Stop, boy. You'll never fucking hear me. You won't do shit. I just slapped the shit out of your hand. You ain't do shit about it, bitch. And you got 40 pounds on me. Right here.
Okay, so we've established that Bisping probably was like, it's a fucking public place, buddy. Fuck you, right? So this guy, hey, yo, I'm gonna be stepping on this guy's part because I want to play this guy's part, but he's like, hey, yo, respect my mind, son. Stop filming. And so ultimately, Bisping told him to suck his dick, okay? Now, one thing that you might not be aware of if you don't watch certain YouTube channels that I do, I guess I could just own this as if I know because of my extensive fucking time in prison, but, I haven't been to prison, nor have I spent a lot of time in the ghetto. I've learned a lot of stuff on YouTube, so that's how I know this. But basically, you know how like if you're in prison and you call a guy a punk or a bitch, it's on autopilot. They literally have to attack you or else they actually become someone's punk or bitch or they get stabbed by their people, right? Like punk, bitch, automatic fight. You have to attack the person. Just plain and simple, you have to. So I also know that in certain ghetto communities, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say this guy was probably a part of, given that when he did his video, he's literally laying on his back on a bed with a fucking red bandana, around his neck. And hey, dude, if I ever run into you in Bourbon Street, I'm not talking shit about your way of life. I'm just making fun of how you filmed the video and the fact that you were wearing gang paraphernalia when you talked about a fucking UFC fighter and how you wanted to fight him, which is the most ludicrous thing ever because he beat you to death without even fucking trying. Anywho, but in those ghetto communities, if you're told to suck someone's dick, that is equivalent to punk or bitch. It's the same exact thing. You have to attack them. Like, that's like, suck your dick. Otherwise, I don't know if your people are going to stab you like jail, but that is autopilot fight. So Bisping told him to suck his dick. And so this guy was like, suck your dick, son. I'm going to sucker punch you. Except that, how hard I just punched my hand, that's about how hard he punched Bisping. Because Bisping took it and then laughed. Now, a couple things on that, right? A couple things on that. So number one, if you've ever seen these like ghetto guys fight, like guys that are like for real ghetto, and by the way, when he said he doesn't like people to film him, right, because of his past, what do you think he's talking about? You think he's talking about like his past where like he's got a secret life as like a fucking business executive? Hey, yo, I don't want them to know I'm hanging out in the corner. I don't like when people be filming me. Or you think what he means is that he's in his drug territory, right? He doesn't want people to film him because he's committing crimes, like he's slanging drugs, etc. Would be my guess, right? Would be my guess. Or maybe he just likes to punk white dudes that have their cameras out. Like, he thinks it's funny, you know? Because of my past, hey, don't be filming here. And then they put their camera away. He's all, yeah, you guys see that shit? Yeah. So either of those is fucking stupid. So it doesn't really matter why he wanted to put it away. But how many times have you seen these, like, you know, I mean, if you watch this channel, what's the fucking likelihood that you haven't perused the internet for lots of street fight videos and knockouts, right? How many times do you see these super ghetto guys that would do a thing like that actually know how to fight? Fucking never, right? I mean, every once in a while you'll see a guy who clearly is very confident and throws really heavy punches, but generally without any form, you know? Like, here's the thing. A person who would take the time to learn to fight, okay, has spent time in a gym learning to fight. And generally, that action takes away that need inside of a person to go out and try to punk people in the street, right? Because you know you could beat the shit out of them, so what the fuck's the point of going out and punking them around, right? And we're going to get back to that in a second. So, point being, the guy didn't know how to fight. He doesn't know how to punch worth shit. He punched Bisping in the face, and Bisping fucking laughed at him. And so, Bisping at that point walked away. And here's the thing about that, right? So I would imagine a lot of people heard that story and they heard about a dude punching Bisping in the face and they're like, damn, what would I do? You know, I'd probably whip that guy's ass. Well, here's the thing about that, right? I can tell you what everybody who has a wife and multiple children would think, like I do, which is simple. There's an actual equation to this. There is no second answer. There's an equation. What am I going to do now that is least likely to have my wife and kids get hurt, right? Like, what's going to keep my wife and kids the safest? If this guy's a threat to my wife and kids, I'm going to beat this fucking guy until he's unconscious, or take his back, choke him out until he's unconscious and leave him there. And then we're going to leave. One of those two options is going to happen. I'm going to remove consciousness from this fucking idiot, and then we're going to go. Or if he poses no threat to my wife and kids, or if the threat becomes increased if I fight, then we leave, right? It's as simple as that. Like, your criteria for how to act is based on how much risk it will put your wife and kids in. And so if people hear that story and they're like, damn, why didn't Bisping fuck him up? I think it's more gangster that he didn't. Like, why would Bisping have to fuck this guy up? Like, the guy hit him like a pussy. Like, Bisping fought Anderson Silva and won. What the fuck is he worried about this idiot for? Unless the guy's putting his wife and kids in danger. I think it's gangster that he walked away. I would always think it's more gangster if someone who clearly, like, the person is a non-adversary. Like, that's the thing about situations like this. Like, so one time, I told this story a long time ago on this fucking channel, but like, so one time I was at a party and I was with a bunch of my buddies. This was before I had kids. So, you know, this is actually before I was even with Gabrielle. I was at a party with a bunch of my buddies, right? And long story short, a dude who I'm buddies with was walking up this way while this other guy was walking this way. My buddy's walking up the stairs, and I went like this to, like, you know, hug my buddy. And somehow, you know, whatever, my drink went like this and like spilled on this dude who was right next to me, who I didn't know was walking by. And I was like, oh my God, dude, and I grabbed his shoulders. I'm like, I'm really sorry, man. Like, I was like completely 100% respectful of this guy. He's a really, really little guy. And I was like, dude, I'm really, really sorry about that, man. I wasn't like being condescending or anything. I was like being totally genuine, more genuine than I'm doing while I'm telling the story. I was like, I'm really sorry. And the guy goes, hey, man, no problem. And he took his drink and he fucking threw it in my face. Okay. And I was like, and my other buddy who was standing right next to me, who knew me very well, and I mean, you know, he knew. So he literally jumped in between me and the guy was like, don't do it. And so, like, I just auto processed this. But even the fact that my buddy knew him was irrelevant. The dude was just so fucking small. Like, he was just a really little dude. And so I was like, this guy's not a worthy adversary, but I can't let that slide. Like if he would have punched me, actually back then it wouldn't matter. But fuck it, I couldn't let that slide. He threw a full drink in my face when I was being extra respectful. So I hit him like a fucking girl. Not that I would hit a girl, but I open hand. I fucking slapped this guy so whap. And it's because he wasn't a worthy adversary, right? Like, if a bigger person did that, I would have fought them. Okay, back then, obviously, there's no consideration of wife and kids. This dude, he was too little. He's not a worthy adversary, okay? And, like, now as an adult, like, I'm fucking Bisping's age, dude. Like, I get it, okay? Like, you walk away because he's not a worthy adversary. That's a gangster-ass move. You know, the pimp slap's cool when you're fucking 23. But, Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Now check this out. So this guy now, since Bisping came out and told that story and said the guy hits like a bitch, this guy did a video response to this. This is fucking priceless, dude. Okay, ready? Let's watch it. Boom.
What's up, YouTube? So I'm here today to talk to y'all about this shit that happened on Bourbon Street with me and Michael Bisping. So come to find out, he actually was a UFC fighter, which I did not know that was him. But if I did knew that was him, I probably would have still hit this motherfucker anyways. But anyways, this the full breakdown of what happened. So he's sitting there filming a band or whatever, right? I have a high tendency of cameras being pointed towards me in certain areas and certain locations because of my past history. But so he's filming a band or whatever, right? But I see him walk past me. I didn't recognize him. I would have recognized him, but it was too dark or whatever out there. So he's just chilling, recording the band or whatever. So I see his phone go to my face. Put my hand up and say, yo, stop filming me. He says, what? I said, stop filming me. He said, this is Bourbon Street. This is a public place. So I'm like, all right, it's a public place. Respect my mind. Don't film me. So he like, yeah, I do what the fuck I want. This is Bourbon Street. Suck my dick. I said, yeah, suck your dick. All right, anyways. Suck your dick, huh? It took a little bit just to register. Because I'm like, what the fuck? So once he told me to suck his dick, about 6 seconds in, I punched him. But I punched him so quick to where it was like, it wasn't shit, but it was something. My right hand is fractured. So all that bullshit going around talking about I hit soft as a bitch, this and that, I'm a pussy, this and that. People who know me. So that's all I got to say as far as that instance. But to say I actually really wanted to be a UFC fighter, and like I actually hit a UFC fighter, that shit was crazy how it played out. But of course, he's going to actually sit there and say, oh yeah, he hits like a bitch, he's a pussy, this and that. Everybody going to talk this shit, this and that. But Michael Bisping, you a bitch. If you want your fight or your one-on-one or whatever.
Here's what's hilarious about that. That guy actually believes that there is a chance, there's some semblance of reality where if he fought Michael Bisping that he would win. That's what is so funny about guys like that. And you want to know why? Because they've never gotten their ass whipped by someone who actually knows how to fight. You know? Like where would that guy, like that dude right there, who's on the street in New Orleans, you know, punking tourists and telling them not to take pictures, where would that guy have ever experienced what it's like to be up against someone who actually for real knows how to fight? Like, I mean, he would never do that. So like it would be such a shocking moment for him where he would just be like, oh wow, there's literally nothing I could do. Every time I punch people, they're not expecting it. This is really weird. Like, why? Hey, why are your hands up? You're supposed to be like looking down at your phone while I punch you. What's going on, man? And imagine what fucking grappling would be like. A guy who's like no wrestling experience, no grappling experience. Fucking Bisping would break every limb on his body. It's fucking ridiculous. And he really believes it. Like, I'm guaranteed, hey man, we can meet up. Like, what kind of fucking idiot would know he's a UFC fighter, a world champion, and actually believe that fucking makes sense, dude? Hey, let's do this shit. Hey, Bisping, you want to keep talking about me on the internet? We can make this happen. Like, talk about the most fucking empty threat of all time. It's literally like my daughter. I'm like, hey, Giselle, I need you to go to your room and I need you to think about the thing you did. And she's all, hey, I've got a better idea. How about we fucking go downstairs and we make this happen? We make what happen? We fight. Giselle, you're 9. Yeah? Well, I'm good at jiu-jitsu. What does that have to do with anything? It means that we're gonna fight for it. If I lose, I'll go to my room. Okay? And if you win, if you win, I'll go to my room, and if I win, then you go to your fucking room. Giselle, you're 9. Yeah? Okay. I mean, she would have an equal chance of beating me up as fucking this dick fuck would have beating up Michael Bisping. So maybe I should throw that out there as an option for her, you know? There's just I would watch it. I think Bisping would have to do it for free, though, because I think he's under contract. But anyway, that's what I got for today. I love it. And by the way, Michael Bisping, if you started your channel because you heard me at some point say something about numbers that I was making and you did it on, in response, you have to DM me on Instagram and at least say, it's true, that's why I did it. That's all I ask. I will be so fucking flattered, man. I love your show, and I am glad you didn't go to jail for beating this fucking idiot up. Anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Peace.